keep it 1 for 100. My men keep it 1 for 100. My ladies keep it 1 for 100. My peoples keep it 1 for 100.
100.
Welcome to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what that means, folks?
You're off work, I'm out of school.
That's true. But every high school team, college team is playing. Some will play tonight. Tonight we got a big game with LSU.
LSU and USC. Stinking Lincoln, you know.
Stinking Lincoln. See what he can do with his new QB. He lost the guy that painted his fingernails to the Chicago Bears, but now he got a new quarterback. But one of the special young men that's playing for LSU, his daddy's out of here at Dell City, Corey Durham. His boy will be playing for LSU tonight. I don't know if he's starting or what, but I know he's fast as hell. So.
When I checked, I think he was like 4th or 5th on the depth chart.
Oh, so he might and might not get
But I
no
think
game.
he was going through some injuries through spring and camp and everything, so I think that's what was holding him back a little bit. But, he might be redshirting this year. I can't confirm that, but if that's the case, then
I don't know. The dad was at the game, so I don't.
Okay.
I don't know why you go to the game. Your son's not going to sit on the sidelines. You're not.
I mean,
that
that should be a fun game. I mean, it's in Vegas.
Yes.
So,
I saw that. He said everything in Vegas was LSU lined up. So pretty cool. We got a couple things we're going to have today. You know, like I said, it's Labor Day weekend. Hope everybody's having a safe weekend. Hope everybody's getting to eat some good barbecue. Labor Day weekend all means it's almost summer is almost over. So then we'll start getting our jackets out for these cold Friday night and Saturday ball games. So looking forward to that. We're going to recap OU, talk about some of the games that went over on 0 week. Everybody didn't play, but everybody be playing this Friday night. Yep. Some teams started off 0-1 that you would expect, like the Bigsby Spartans. Man. Owasso must be the real deal. But we're going to have Kaydin.
Kaydin Jones from Jenks. One of the top running back prospects in the class of 2026, son of former OU running back Kewan Jones.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
that's why Big E got his OU gear on today.
Yes, sir.
But that's cool. It's what we do, folks. We reach out to 918. Not only do we get 405, but we reach out to 918. And it's pretty cool to have this young man on. His dad was a superstar back in his young days. Yeah. His dad's come on and done some 10-minute segments with us, so we get to talk to this young man. Really well-spoken young man, really soft-spoken. For all the hype he gets, he's really down to earth, not really flashy. We'll get a chance to talk to him and find more about him. But we're going to go over a couple things real quick. We're going to let Big E talk about OU real quick.
Yeah. So, I was at the OU game. A lot of fun, packed house. As soon as the Sooners started running out of the tunnel, the whole student section starts doing the SEC chant. First game in the SEC.
How did they do it? Show me how they do it, Big E.
SEC. Okay. Yeah, we had it started like that. A lot of good things I saw in that game. A lot of bad things I saw in that game. More so on the offensive side of the ball. Kind of in the beginning, I wouldn't say necessarily struggled, but we had didn't have really any third down conversions up until after the third quarter, I think it was. And against a Temple team, you definitely should have been able to convert some of those third down conversions, stuff like that. O-line about as shaky as everybody thought it would be. You had your starting center go down early, Branson Hickman, so everybody was sliding around at different positions and everything like that just because they're so thin at that position right now with all the injuries that are in that room. Another injury that you saw, Jalil Farouk, after catching that 40-something yard pass, broke his foot on that play, so he's going to go through surgery and be out 6 to 8 weeks. Best case scenario is that he's back for the Red River rivalry game in Dallas. I think some of the good things that I saw on offense was Jackson Arnold. Even though he was getting pressured and everything, he was still able to make his throws. They were on target for the most part. And so that was good to see. When pressure was in his face, he was able to stay composed, keep his poise, and make the throws that he needed to make. The kicking we had a
the
kicker.
kicking
Yeah,
was perfect.
much improved from last year.
Yes,
Had
sir.
Tyler Keltner made a 50-yard field goal that probably would have been good from 55 to 57. So that was good. We had inconsistent kicking in the past few years, and then our kicker from last year, Zach Schmidt, that's his name, took care of the kickoff specialist tasks, and he was able to put the ball through the end zone and everything like that to keep them away from being able to make a return. But defense was the story of this game. 6 turnovers that they forced, 4 fumbles, 2 interceptions. What I really like to see is, like, on the tackles, you saw people punching at the ball, and that's how they were able to get that ball to come out and recover 4 fumbles right there. So that's what I like to see, a bunch of that Peanut Tillman type tackling right there, punching that ball out. So, yeah, so that's exciting to see. Anytime you're able to force 6 turnovers, no matter who the opponent is, that's a feat in itself. So hopefully they can keep that train rolling as they got Houston coming to town this week on Saturday, 6:45 kickoff. It'll be on SEC Network. SEC Network. So,
Okay.
But yeah, so that'll be exciting. You saw flashes of Michael Hawkins Jr. He had a couple of good runs, had good pocket movement and everything, took off when he needed to, wasn't trying to force anything. So I think he did pretty good there. And then Deion Burks catching 3 touchdowns. That was a lot of fun to watch.
That's the dude that came from Purdue?
Yep. Yeah, that's the Purdue transfer. And,
What about the little tailback?
Tatum, yeah, he looked good.
Hey,
honestly,
hey,
I think he was the best looking running back in that game.
I think him and Barnes.
Yeah, him and Barnes were good.
They got some speed. When they get the ball, they take it. They can take it to the house. Was it Shazarak or Shashahu? What's his name?
Sawchuk.
Sawchuk.
Gavin Sawchuk.
He needs to be down on the goal line package, because he's not very. He just, those other 2, man, they got the potential. When they get it, they can go to the house.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was more so the vanilla offense that we were calling. We weren't doing too much with our, we weren't really, pulling any guards or tackles or anything to create those open, those run lanes and everything like that. Just pretty vanilla offense, because you don't want to show too much against a team like Temple. I mean, you were still able to put up 51 points with that vanilla offense and without, being able to move the ball as we were used to with OU offenses in the past. Mostly in part because we were able to force those 6 turnovers and, get the offense in a good field position there. But, I think,
What about the freshman on the defensive line?
Jaden Jackson, yeah, he looked good. Another guy that had a really good game was Grayson Halton. They call him G-Baby down in Norman. But
What number was he?
56.
56, okay.
Yep. So,
they played a
yeah,
lot
that
of
interior
guys.
D-line's looking really good. And then what you're going to get out of the guys like Ethan Downs, R. Mason Thomas, P.J. Adebaware. Those are guys that have been playing for some time. R. Mason Thomas, it was good to see him back out on the field. He spent most of the season sidelined with injuries last season, kind of came around, had a pretty good game against Arizona in that bowl game. But, I think, I don't think there was any shocks in this game. I think people that have followed OU closely, they expected the kind of the O-line to look a little bit shaky, with a whole brand new O-line from what we had last year, and a lot of the guys are banged up over there at the O-line position. So, but yeah, and then the defense, as advertised, flying around to the football, getting the ball out, forcing turnovers, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think. I don't think this game tells the whole story of what OU season is going to be, not for sure. Hopefully get some guys back before you have Tennessee rolling into town. Obviously you're going to be without Jalil Farouk and Jaden Gibson for a good portion. Well, Jaden Gibson's going to be out for the season. Jalil Farouk for a good portion of the season. So that wide receiver room is getting thinner and thinner, but it's a deep room there. So, I mean, if you're going to lose guys at a position, you kind of want it to be wide receiver. So guys that I expect to see to step up, I think you saw Ivan Carrion come in after J.J. Hester dropped a couple passes. And then I think Jaquez Petaway is going to get some burn as well out of the slot. He's kind of going to be your replacement for Drake Stoops, I think. So I think those are going to be some of the guys you're going to see step up, and Ivan Carrion and Jaquez Petaway. You should get Nick Anderson back here pretty soon too. They just held him out as a precautionary measure in that game. He's been a little banged up through camp and everything, but I don't think I think Tulane will be a pretty good test as far as, what it's going to look like going into the SEC play, because after that game, I think you got Tennessee rolling into town shortly after. So, and Tennessee looks really good. That their quarterback, in the same recruiting class as Jackson Arnold, I think, depending on who you ask, they were like 1 and 2 in that recruiting class. So, outside of Arch Manning. But
good.
yeah, Arch Manning did look pretty good. I was kind of surprised.
Texas is the real deal.
Yeah, they didn't look bad. I didn't watch a whole lot of that game, but I saw the score and I was like, okay, because I thought they were going to have some struggles because they had 11 guys go to the NFL, so there's some big shoes to fill.
The thing about Archie Manning is that he can throw and he can run. He makes a lot of great decisions. One, your both your uncles are Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and you've been around the game. Your grandpa. So I just thought that when he got in the game, man, Texas even went up another notch. I texted my brother and I said, man, why you didn't try to get him? He said he didn't want to go there. It was either there, Texas or Ole Miss. But I really want to say, though, OU always finds a way to beat him. I know you talked about Arnold with OU. Wasn't really sold on him, man. He reminds me of a younger version of Tom Landry Jones that was at OU forever. Just his body language, it's like you say, he's playing with a beat-up line, and sometimes he would –
but you gotta think, he was out there with a line that he wasn't used to in camp, wide receiver core he wasn't used to in camp. So I think as you get guys healthier, I think you'll see more of like the big plays that you expect out of Jackson Arnold. So they didn't really push the ball down the field a whole lot.
No, they didn't.
They had that one deep ball over the top to Jalil Farouk, and I think that was the most explosive play through the air that they had all game.
When he broke his leg?
Yeah, that's when he broke his leg. I think on the tackle, he got wrapped up around his ankle, and I think he just kind of stepped weird or something, and
crazy.
broke his foot. So
well, Big E, we got a special guest coming on, so let's take a quick break and then bring this young man on, and then we'll get back to college and talk about high school and all the good things. So we'll be right back after what?
After one of our sponsors.
Keep it at 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Right back.
The gang's the same, but we changed the name, and we're now Chaos Customs OKC. Still your one-stop shop for all your vehicle upfitting and accessory needs. With almost 30 years in the business, we're your go-to for lift kits, wheels, tires, spray liners, bed covers, leather, fleet solutions, and so much more. Give us a call today at 405-778-8878.
Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Tried to call Kaydin Jones, with it being Labor Day weekend, they're out at the lake, so they're headed to the dock right now, so we'll give them a call back here in about 10 minutes or so. But, some other things I wanted to talk about surrounding college football. Travis Hunter balled out against North Dakota State, had 3 touchdowns.
Real deal, pass the pill.
Man, that guy is going to be, he's a superstar. I think everybody knew that already. But what I'm interested to see is, can he be – I don't know if this has ever been done before. But can he be a guy that wins the Thorpe and the Biletnikoff?
Good question, Big E. But I want to ask you this question, Big E. Because I know you follow college football, man, really, really tight. Do you think in the NFL he's going to play more corner or receiver?
I think he's so electric on the offensive side of the ball. But, I don't know. I think you got to – I think in the NFL you're going to have to play him both ways.
Maybe play him in the nickel package.
Yeah, I think because the way that he flies to the ball on the outside, he was kind of able to shut down those screen passes to the outside on his own. Back to what I was saying about Travis Hunter, he was making catches all over the place, and I think you asked the question, what do you do with him in the NFL? I think he's just too dynamic on both sides of the ball to just allow him to play one side of the ball, because he's dynamic. He's making plays on defense. He's making plays on offense. I think he's probably shown more on the offensive side of the ball, but, he's still able to make a difference for you on defense. So, but, yeah. And then another thing, Miami, they look really good. They finally got a quarterback.
Where did that quarterback come from?
Washington State. Yeah, he's at Washington State. He might have been at somewhere else before Washington State too, but I can't remember if he was or not.
Man, I'll tell you this, man. You get a young man in your system that's a pretty good quarterback, man. The whole team changes, man. Miami's like a team that can go in the swamp and beat them like they did yesterday, and the numbers he put up yesterday as a QB is big time. But I mean, all around the world, you look at Georgia. Georgia's still number one.
Yeah.
You look at them. I think Oregon's kind of a little bit overrated.
Yeah.
Ohio State, they're going to a freshman receiver. I don't know how long that's going to last. You start playing in the cold and all the things they do up there. But I think Texas is the real deal. I do. I think Texas is the top 5 team. OU, I'm saying I'm still kind of suspect about, like I said, the quarterback play. Defense, to me, has been the best defense. But, you are playing Temple. Let's see what they do against Houston this week, a team that's pretty decent. I think the college, if you can get to the playoff system, if OU can get there, I think they can do some damage because, I really think the running back, they got some backs. The freshman kid really, really impressed me. I hope he gets more carries coming into this week. But I know you kind of want to save him. They get 4 games they can play in. But if he can go, let him go because you got the number 3 running back coming in next year. And Hawkins is a good is a good quarterback. Oklahoma State, I think the quarterback, the play, I mean, it's okay. I don't think he's a national championship quarterback.
Yeah, he's average at best.
Yes.
But I think they did shock me. I expected that game to be a lot closer than what it was, with South Dakota State being the powerhouse they are at the FCS level.
They lost a lot of guys, though.
Yeah, but, they were on a 29-game winning streak. OSU
What was
came in
Bixby's
there.
winning streak?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
Sometimes the streaks come to an end.
Yeah. So, I think OSU, back to what I said like a few weeks ago, I think they're they go out there, they do what they're supposed to do. They should win the Big 12. Arizona looked really good, that wide receiver that they have. He had over 300 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. Arizona is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Big 12.
What about Utah?
Utah looked really good.
K-State?
Cam Rising came out there and did his thing. K-State, I don't know. They got a first year starter at quarterback as well. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the top QB prospects in his class. But I just think I don't know if this is the right year for them. I think as they keep building in the future, because they have a great coaching staff over there, they've been recruiting pretty well as well. So I just don't think this is the year for them. I think I think the Big 3 and the Big 12 is Utah, Oklahoma State, and Arizona.
What about you don't think Colorado can do anything with it?
Once they get in the conference play, I don't see them doing a whole lot. I think they should probably be bowl eligible. I'd say 6-7 wins maybe, but I don't think they'll be competing for
but then you go to
conference
bowl.
title.
Is Henry and Sanders, are they going to play in the bowl game? Because they both going to go to the NFL, so you can see the word on the street is that Sanders is probably going to go to the Cowboys, and so is his son. So that's why Dak's probably haven't got the big contract yet.
Yeah, that could be it. I don't know if I'm sold on Shador as like a franchise guy yet. I think he has a little bit more to prove.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, if he goes out and has a big season this year, then yeah, I could see him being a franchise guy.
But Big E, he stays in the pocket though. He doesn't. He's not one of those guys who want to take off and run. He don't want to run. I mean, so you got to give him that.
Yeah.
He's going to stay in the pocket and get hit in the chin. So I will give him props on that. But I think he can. I mean, he's probably no worse than Dax because Dax don't run either. No. And
my thing is like, how is he when his dad isn't coaching him? Because he's been coached by his dad ever since he started playing the game.
Yes, I should know that because I beat him.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the only. I mean, all he knows is his daddy style of ball.
Daddy.
So
and Daddy plays a lot of daddy ball.
Daddy ball.
Because
so
at the end of the game, you should have been running the ball, and you're still throwing the ball.
What do you think the chances are that after this year, Cowboys fire McCarthy and then they hire Dion?
I think there's a good chance. I think that's why he's
why he's
doing
it.
It's kind of like LeBron and the Lakers.
Yeah.
I mean that's just
Wouldn't
real
surprise
talk.
me one bit. That'd piss off a lot of fans in Boulder if he did that.
But he brought a lot of money though.
He did bring a lot of money, but
that's
all going to go away once he leaves.
Oh yeah, I mean the sunglasses.
Yeah.
To the whoever Big Papa, whoever was rapping the other day in the.
Oh, Big X the Plug. Was that who it is?
Never heard of him.
He actually did the last week. He did a show in Norman at OU. I mean, I think it was like a private event for like the fraternities and sororities. But I had some friends that are in fraternities that were at the concert. I was like, dude, I didn't hear about this.
Play me a song. I've never heard.
You never heard Big X the Plug?
You got to bring me something out. Big X the Plug.
I like me some Big X the Plug. Hold on.
I mean, Big X the Plug. Who else you look good in college football? Like I said, I know you mentioned Tennessee.
Notre Dame, that defense.
Notre Dame offense is kind of the Duke quarterback. He likes to run. Tough-nosed kid, but A&M still don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he only didn't even complete half of his passes and only
Then he
threw
said-
2 picks, only 100 yards.
It did like he was throwing a fastball. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man, slow it down.
But yeah.
Who else out there looked good too before we call KD back?
Let me go back to some of these games. I think
Who wins tonight?
LSU wins tonight. And that's not me being a sour towards USC. I think they really do win that game. Man, I think. Let me go back here. There were so many games, so many good games yesterday that it's hard to remember.
Games.
But
shout out to Vanderbilt, McConnell.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Got some playing
McConnell.
time. Got a big upset, big win over Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech ain't been the same since Michael Vick and his brother's been gone. So,
right.
But big shout out to those guys.
Ole Miss looks really good.
Ole
Alabama
Miss.
looks really good.
Dart. Is that
Yeah,
what Dart?
Jackson Dart.
He's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I like him.
Those are 2 teams that are on OU's schedule, and those are going to be really tough games right there.
Who was that? Ole Miss and who else?
Alabama.
Alabama.
I don't know.
It ain't Nick's. Hey, what
Well,
about Nick Saban sitting up
it's
there
still,
next to?
I mean, Kalen DeBoer, he played in the national championship last year. He's won at every stop he's been to. He's had success everywhere he's been. I mean, I think Alabama hired the best available candidate.
I got to ask you though. What about Nick Saban sitting up there next to the
Pat McAfee? I love it. I love seeing him on College Game Day. Both of them. Pat McAfee, I mean, I watch his show throughout the week.
Yeah,
he does
but
a
I'm
show
saying,
every week.
what about
day,
Nick Saban's face? So he's looking at the dude like,
he's an old head.
he's old.
So he's never been.
Then he was at the Alabama game last night. I mean, saw him
Yeah.
and his family sitting in the stands supporting.
Yeah.
I bet he was in his head like, you should have ran that. You should have done that. You
Yeah.
should have done this.
Absolutely.
I see Nick
I
going
think
back to coaching in the year.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I think SEC still remains the best conference in college football. And I think the Big Ten is probably the next best. But yeah, it's going to be a tough climb for OU, especially if they can't get that O-line situation figured out, because Tennessee probably has one of the best D-lines in the nation. They got James Pierce Jr. on the edge, projected to be the number 1 pick in this draft next year. And it's that right tackle spot, or the right tackle spot's horrible. Spencer Brown came in, and I think I could have gone out there and done a better job.
What about Sexton? How's Sexton doing?
Sexton, I think he did pretty good. He did pretty good. Even with having to move around a little bit on the line. But yeah, I think you got to get guys back before Tennessee. So if that means not playing them until that week, not putting them on a practice field until that week, then
get him 100% healthy.
Because really, you shouldn't need a super stellar O-line to beat Houston and Tulane.
You want to try this young man again, Mr. Jones?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's try giving Kaydin another call. See if we can get him on the line. And
okay, we'll give him a call real quick, folks. We'll be right back after one of our sponsors, keeping it 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Labor Day weekend.
Tired of going out to your trash can, having to smell so bad? Well, no further. Call Spiffy Cans. He cleans, disinfects, sanitizes. 405-423-8824 or go to spiffycansok.com. Spiffy Cans, he's your man.
Spiffy Can, he's your man. Welcome back to Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports on this Labor Day weekend. We got a chance to catch my man, Kaydin Jones, fresh off the lake. I don't know what lake he's at, but he's about to tell us. What's up, Mr. Jones?
What's up? How you doing?
Pretty good. Glad to have you on the show, man. We've been following you.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, no. Thank you for coming on, man. I mean, a young man with your high class, big-time recruit of Oklahoma, taking care of business over on Friday night over at Jenks beating up on Edmond Santa Fe. Glad to have you on the show, man. What lake you at?
I'm at Grand Lake right now.
Oh, big time. See, that's where that big money go, man. A guy like me got to go down to Thunderbird where it's dirty.
There's some golf courses out there I need to play at.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, Kate, man, we're glad to have you on the show, man. I know this is your junior year. You spent your freshman year over at Broken Arrow, and last year you came home to where Dad's from, the Jenks Trojan. So, I mean, what's it been like coming back home to Jenks?
Yeah, Jinx has been great. When I came here, they were so welcoming, and it's just a community I want to play for. So it's just great, to be honest.
That's big time. That's big time. But last year you guys kind of fell short, didn't win the state championship. But this year I think it's wide open. I know I got a chance to talk to your dad a couple weeks ago. We was at the Maybe tournament. He was talking about some of the guys you guys had moved in. But not only that, but Bigsby gets beat the other night by the Wasson. I know it kind of shocked the Tulsa world. I know, me and my brother kind of did a show last week and we talked about Bigsby, it being Bigsby and Jenks for the state championship. But I know you gotta play one game at a time, but I just gotta tell you, man, I don't think they're the same teams they have been, and I think you guys are loaded. So if you could tell us, for the listeners, tell us some of the new guys you guys got on the Jenks team.
You said what?
Tell us some of the new guys you have on the Jenks team.
We got Malachi Dillard at receiver. He's a great playmaker, and we got Riley Kester blocking for me up front. So hey. I love that. Hey, you look at the film on Friday. He showed up business. So.
Yeah, I saw a couple pancakes, man, and it wasn't at IHOP or Denny's. It was him laying people out.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's a monster, And then I gotta shout out my boy Javion. He's a monster too. So with the line like that, it's hard to not be successful. So
yeah, you put up some big numbers the other night. What, 3 TDs? What 197 yards, is that it?
Yep.
Yeah, 197 yards, 27 carries, man. I mean, that's big time, man. I mean, those are big time college numbers, and you're not even in college yet, though. So that's great. So you guys got a Wausau this week. What's that game gonna be like?
It's gonna be a really good game, I think. But I mean, if Jinx plays Jinx's game, no one can beat us. So it really just depends on us. If we play our game, no one can really stop us. Like you saw on Friday. 48-3. Our offensive line was dominant. So that run game gonna be in effect, and if they try to stop that run game, the pass game gonna be there. So
yeah, your quarterback what's his name? Is it Owen Jones? Is that
Owen Jones? Yep.
Yeah. Now, is he a senior? Has he got another year?
Yeah, he's a senior this year, and I expect a big year out of him. Last year he wasn't really productive because we were in the run game so much, but I think this year with Coach Wilkinson, he's going to make him a lot better player. So
that's big time. So you have their schedule, Big E? Can you pull their schedule up real quick? We're going to pull up your schedule real quick. I know your dad being Kewan Jones, a guy that played at OU, was a big-time player when he was at Jenks. I know he's remembered by catching that ball and taking it to the house and beating Union.
That backyard.
Yeah, the backyard bowl. So, is it tough sometimes, him being your father and everybody trying to compare you to him, especially with the recruiting going on? I know your dad's a big-time OU fan, but is he kind of letting you make your own decision what college you want to go to?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's my decision. But, I'm going to listen to him because he's been there before. So, he can give me that advice. But, in terms of pressure-wise, I don't really feel any pressure because, like I said, at the end of the day, it's my decision. I'm going to go where I feel I'm best needed at. So,
that's big. That's big time. Big E, you got anything?
Yeah, the first part of your schedule, that's probably the toughest part of it. You already got through Edmond Santa Fe. You got Owasso this week, and then you got Union the following week and Bixby. So you're taking on all the powerhouses in 6A. Right at the start of the season. Do you think that having them that early in the season and having that sense of urgency to get everybody where they need to be? All right, so we're bringing up your schedule and everything. You're going through the ringer like right at the start of the season. You already got through Edmond Santa Fe, beating them 48-3. You got Owasso, who's coming off a game, beating Bixby, so they're going to have momentum, and then you followed up with Union and then Bixby. So do you think having that hard of a schedule in the beginning will prime you guys for the end of the season to help you guys get a gold ball?
Yeah, I think it's really good for us because, it'll challenge us right away and see where we are as a team. Going through the schedule, we got, like I said, we got a gauntlet the first 4 games, and then no, I want to say we blow by the rest of the schedule, but it'll be kind of be a season to tune up on our things, get ready for the playoffs, and when we get in the playoffs, I think that's going to be our real challenge. So,
yeah, the thing about it when you guys are sitting where you're at, Everybody always have Bigsby number one. I know your dad did the show with the twins the other day, and I thought it was kind of funny because it's the Bigsby way they were talking about. I tell people all the time, I think Bigsby is built off Jenks. What Jenks did back in the days. My brother lost to Rocky Calmers in the finals back in 96, 97. And then your dad's team, and now when you guys are doing, I think Jenks has already is put the blueprint out, and Bigsby kind of copied that and became the smaller version of Jenks, especially in 6'8" small. So now they're both now they're both in 6'8" too. Now it's like who's gonna win this battle? I think for the longest Bigsby had the Presley boys. Now I think they still got one there, but I don't think he's like the other two brothers. But you can see, and they put out some good athletes. They got the tight end over at, Arkansas and some of the other guys they got. But I just think Jenks is built different now. I think Owasso with the new coach, man, I think he put a little bit of fire in those guys. So, you're looking at Rising, the quarterback over at Union that was at Jenks at one time. I think that's going to be a big challenge for you guys. But, if there's anybody on the schedule, who do you think will be the one that's going to probably try to hit you guys in the mouth the most?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm gonna think it's Owasso upcoming this week because they're coming off some good momentum and they're coming off a big win, so they're gonna be high headed and everything. So, but like I said earlier, if we play our game, no one can really beat us, and if we play Jenks football, I think we're the most dominant team in the state, and that's all we got to do. So.
That's cool. Let's talk about your recruiting real quick. I know you got everybody in the country after you, man. You got Dion. It's trying to get you. You got OU. I mean, you got I think Miami offered you too.
Yes, sir, they did.
After watching Miami yesterday, Kaydin, I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, hey,
yeah, they look good last night.
They look. Me and Big E just kind of talked about that just now. How good they look. So I just tell you one thing about when you're having all these different teams reaching out to you. Is it hard, man? Is it hard to say my top 10, my top 11, my top 12, whatever you got? Is it hard? Is mom and dad helping you with decisions? You got friends helping you? What's it like for you to pick your top 10 or your top 11, whatever you got?
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's a hard process, but at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's really up to me. It's my decision. Obviously, I'm gonna ask my dad because he's been through that recruiting process and he's been through that. Just all the teams reaching out to him. But at the end of the day, I would say it's my decision. I'm going to go where I think best fits me and best, help me get to that NFL level. And that's really what I'm looking for. Get me to the NFL. And, when you talk about college, you talk about generational wealth. And that's really what I'm trying to establish. So.
No, that's big time, when you talk about, these colleges, you look at Colorado. Me and Big E just kind of talked about this. Deion's boy leaves here in another year after this season. You think Deion's going to stick around. He's recruiting these young men, but he's going to leave and go to NFL and follow his boys. So I'm not saying trying to steer you away from it, but do you kind of look at those? Do you kind of look at those type of things though? Like, hey, who's going to be here? Because I always tell and I say this because my son did this. You pick a school you like. Not because of the coach. You pick a school because you love the school, because if that coach leave, that school is still there. And I think sometimes these kids get caught up in this coach. But, man, if that coach is going to get $10 million from somebody else, he might go and take that job and leave. So, my boy was getting recruited. He chose, Little Rock wanted him, OU, Nebraska. He chose UCO. And at that point in time, I was mad. But he chose a school that he loved, and that's what you want. You want to be somewhere where you love and you're loved at. So, keep that in consideration too, though. So that coach might not be there. Here, you still got 2 more years of high school football, so you don't know what's going to happen. So, just kind of keep that in thought too.
Yeah, no, definitely. You want to go to a college, you can go play for the next 3 to 4 years and get you to that NFL level. And, like you said, you could have all these offers in the world, but if you don't really mess with them like that and you mess with a smaller school, that's where you're going to go because that's where you feel like home. So really for me, I'm just trying to find that place that feels like home, that can get me to that NFL level while I'm still having fun, because at the end of the day, football is the game that we played since we were 6 years old, and we just played it for fun. So,
there ain't nothing wrong getting paid on it, especially with the NIL. Hey, it's funny.
Facts. If you can get paid for playing the game that you love since you was little, I mean, that's big time.
Hey, this is funny. I was watching a show this morning, or maybe last night. Actually, it might have been on TikTok. It was talking about what was the quarterback that was over at? I think he's the quarterback at Houston Oilers now. The Houston.
Okay.
What's the quarterback?
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. He was talking about his NIL money, and
Okay, yeah.
and he was talking about these kids get this money, right? And they get all this money. Three said they get all this money, but they got to pay taxes on that money. Well, half of those kids will go blow that money, and then when they blow it, they don't go to the NFL. They can't pay the money back. So then you're in trouble if you don't pay your taxes. So
Yeah,
I think
facts.
guys got to be educated on that too, though, because you're seeing all these guys get all this money, right? Get all this money, but you still got to pay for that money. Somebody's got to pay for it. So
Yeah.
I think guys got to be educated on that, man. And I saw that last night. And I said, man, that makes a lot of sense because those kids don't know that. When you got a kid that don't come from nothing, and hey, I got this big money. I'm making $350,000, whatever I'm making, and then at the end of the year, it's time to pay taxes on it, and you ain't got nothing to pay. You ain't got no money to pay the taxes on it. Now you're in trouble. So I think guys got to be educated on that, and then these guys that's giving that money to these kids should educate them on that because, man, if you're a young man and you're getting this kind of money, man, you're gonna go blow it.
There are some schools that are doing it right, though.
Yeah,
getting financial advisors.
That's definitely facts. And, I think that's where my dad comes in because he's kind of like my agent. He helps me with that money standpoint because like y'all said, I'm just a kid. I don't really have that much knowledge on the money part, and that's where he comes in and helps me be smart with it. Helps me manage it. So I think that's definitely a blessing from my dad in the money wise. Just being like an agent for me, and helping me be smart in this recruiting process. So
that's perfect though, because like I said, lucky you got a pops that's on your side that's been through it too, especially somebody that's been through that was highly recruited like himself that can help you a lot. I got to ask you a couple more things before we let you go though. Your dad, he got that nice cut fade bald. What does he have in the back of his head though?
That's me. Any week to week it could be something different, but right now it's me, that number 2. So he gonna represent the family like he needs to, and
I like it.
I'm gonna show up for him every week. So
that's big time. What was my other question I would ask you? Man, I had one more.
I got something. Yeah. So you talk about the NIL, and obviously the there were some things passed in the government and everything in the past few years, where high school athletes can, they can benefit off that NIL. But for me, I haven't seen a whole lot of that. I think I heard of like one softball player somewhere that got like her own bat deal or something like that. But have you seen like have you gotten NIL deals like through the state yet, or is that anything that you can even talk about? I don't want to get you in trouble here, but
nah, I got you. But I think that'll come later in my recruiting process. As I become a bigger known name in the state and like as the nation, I think more businesses will come, offer me stuff. But right now, I'm really focused on my game in the high school season and just let it flow through me. So
I got you. And then another thing, sticking with your recruitment, it's around the time that recruits are scheduling visits and everything like that. So what are some of the visits that you have lined up as of right now, if you have any at all?
Yeah, so next week I'm going to Colorado versus Nebraska, I believe.
That'll be a good game.
And, I'm really excited for that game. I'm excited to see what Nebraska can go do, and I'm excited to see what Colorado going to do because everyone hyped them up. Aldis, Shadur, Shiloh, Coach Prime, all that. So I'm excited to see what Nebraska going to do versus them. So.
Awesome.
I know what my other question was. So the other day, your dad's on the show with the Twins, and then they talk about the top running backs, and I think Twin had said you was number 3. And your dad, man, he's throwing the fit, man. You should see his face and places, man. And I'm loving it, man. I even come back and said, Key, tell him keep it 100. You know what I mean? Hey, so I got to ask you though. Out of the 5 top backs in the state, how would you rank them? And if it's number 1, you put yourself number 1 because it's keeping it 100 here.
Yeah, facts. Not biased or anything. After Friday, I'm ranking myself number 1 because I put on the show. Number 2, I'm definitely going Man Demarius from Santa Fe. Number 3, to be honest, I'm going Jaden Hall from Owasso because he hard. Like I really mess with him. He hard, he underrated. Number 4, I'll probably go PJ Wallace. And number 5, I'll go to sophomore from BA. He hard, and he definitely got a future coming for him. So
that's big time, though, man. That's big time, and that's cool. And everybody that you named was on the 918.
Yeah.
No, facts, exactly.
Well, I guess you had 1405 guy, the guy from Santa Fe.
Yeah, 1405.
Yeah.
Man. He
man.
the real deal.
Now
he
what
went for 2100 last year in the regular season.
That's big time. That's big time, man.
You can't count him out. He the real deal. Committed to Arizona State. So I'm excited to see what he gonna do in college. But the 918 got all the talent. So
that's it.
We're gonna show that for sure.
Big E, anything else before we let him go?
Yeah, I just one more thing for you. I follow your dad on Twitter. And he's very opinionated, which I appreciate.
He is.
And,
he really is.
He
keeps it one. We got to
get. He keeps it 100.
We got to get 100 in the back of his head.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
Well, he has his own hashtag, and that leads me to that question. After all of his tweets, it's hashtag Tell It. Where does that come from?
I mean, really, to be honest, I don't really know, but I think, to be honest, I think it's just keeping it 100, like y'all say. Everything he say. 100% the truth, because when he say hashtag Tell It, my son the best in the state, that's the real fact. So
yeah, absolutely, man. I love it.
You know what I like about it though, man? Because the other night he's, your son is getting recruited by Dion, and he's like, "What are you thinking? You should be running the ball." I'm thinking, Dion's thinking, I should be throwing the ball because I'm trying to get my son the number 1 pick and win a Heisman, and your dad is a running back coach, and he's like, you should be running the ball. And I'm thinking, damn,
facts.
Them two need to get together and have dinner, man. I love to sit at that table. That'd be some good stuff, though, man. I love it. Well, Mr. Jones, man, you have a great evening. Hey, I thank you, really, one, for giving us a time on this Labor Day weekend. You're at Grand Lake hanging out with your buddies and having a good time, but you took time out to keep it 100. And tell everybody at 918 about Keep It 100. We love everybody on the 405, but we love everybody on the 918. We had my man over from Muskogee on a couple times, man. We've been following Bird since
my man Bird. Yeah, we keep it 100 over here. Come on.
Yeah, but so like I said, we really appreciate you coming on, man, and giving us your time on like especially a Labor Day weekend where you're trying to get relax and have a good time with your friends, but also that you just coming off a big time game though. So good luck this Friday night, man. I'll shoot you a text and hope you put up big numbers again and let Owasso know who's a real team in Tulsa.
Yes, sir. I got you. Thank you for this interview.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Y'all too.
All right. Well, folks, that's the outstanding running back from Jenks, just a junior. Yeah. And he got, I don't know how many offers got, 30, 40.
He's got a lot. I mean, everybody's on him. He's one of the most highly touted running back prospects in the nation. Everybody's wanting him. If you just go and you watch the film, I mean, you see how explosive and how dynamic this guy is, and the playmaker that he's going to be for one of these top college programs one day. So
I'm gonna keep it real with you, Big E. Where you think he goes?
I don't know. I still feel like he's going to follow his dad's footsteps and step into Norman. So we'll see. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, you're going to be coached by one of the best running backs.
I can see him. I mean, I know his daddy. I know his daddy played at OU, and big time.
I don't think Dion will be there by the
time.
No,
I don't think he's going to Colorado.
He ain't going to Colorado.
I don't think he's going to Colorado, but I can see.
He seems.
What about Texas?
Maybe Texas.
I mean,
when he talked about Nebraska, he seemed pretty excited about Nebraska.
Nebraska's a good place, man. I mean, Ohio State. I mean, wherever he goes, because he got good hands. And the thing is, the young man can play DB too. He's not. The funny thing is, man, I was looking at a picture. He's way taller than his daddy.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he's got good size. He's got everything you need.
He's fast, athletic. I mean, and they're a very athletic family, man. And Keywan, I love him to death because, he loves his babies, man, and he keeps it 100. What do you say? What does it say? Hashtag what?
Tell it.
Tell it. Hashtag tell it, folks. He's telling you to tell the truth. His son's the best in the state. I know other daddies probably feel different about that, but hey, you should love your babies because I'm your babies. But folks, we're going to keep the show rolling. I'm sorry that we've having some
technical difficulties.
Big time today. After 45 years we've been doing this show, we ain't had it this bad, but hey, that's all right. The show must go on. So we're going to jump into some of the high school 0-week games. Our man, Coach Jones, coming off a state championship runner-up, ran into the Edmond Dogs.
Here, move your mic away a little bit.
Oh, am I too
But,
loud?
yeah.
Like, usually I'm
I'm
loud.
like-
Jonah was telling
you
me
know.
I talk too low, so today I got a little bit more energy because everything is going wrong, so we might as well make it right. But Coach Jones went into the Edmond Bulldogs, and he gets beat up on. And Jones going through some stuff right now, loses offense coordinator, loses his line coach, and, he's kind of, shuffling the deck and trying to get things right. And he will. If there's anybody that can do it, it's him because he's the guy that's in the lab 24/7. And I called him the other day. I called him a week ago, and I said, hey, man, don't stress yourself out. Don't stroke yourself out, man. It's just a game, and win, lose, or draw, man. You've done a great job of that program. You don't have some of the other things that some of these other coaches get, you know what I'm saying, as far as like coaches in the classroom with them, you know what I'm saying? Some of these other schools are lucky to have coaches on the staff with him that's in the classroom too. So he has a lot of lay coaches, but I told him, you gotta go grab a couple good young coaches and put them on the staff and work them up and make them become, hey, you mentor them and make them become great coaches. I'm not saying his coaches are not, but when you're looking at a school like Carl Albert or some of these other schools got 10 to 12, 14, 15, 16 coaches, and you look at him, he got 6 or 7 coaches. It hurts a lot, and some of those guys are doing JV and varsity, so it takes a lot.
Yeah, they got a lot on their plate.
Yeah, a lot on their plate. So he takes a beating, gets beat by Edmond Memorial with 35-0. Had more yards than him, got in the red zone 4 times. Defense only really gave up 21 points because they had a pick 6 and then had a fumble down there. So defense really only gave up 21 points, and I know he takes defense serious because he's been a defensive coordinator the last few years, and now he hands it over to Charvis. And you could tell Charvis is up and coming young coach, but I think a lot of it is that Jones had to concentrate more on offense than he did defense. So it takes a little bit out of his hands. So he has a tough he'll have a tough game. I think he got Booker T this week.
Let me see. Yep, Booker T.
He got Booker T
At
this
Booker
week
T.
at Booker T. So be another tough road test, man. Man, everything just beeping on me today. Folks. Just beeping away. But God dang it. But like I said, he'll have Booker T on the road. But then you look at who else you have. Some other big time games you watched. I went to the Westmore game.
Yeah.
Coach White didn't get his first victory as a Westmore coach. Probably got to wait another week to try to get that. But, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, man, Zoe was a good coach over there. He ended up getting let go. But Coach White got his hands full, I mean, if you talk about a transfer portal in college, you had to talk about it in high school. He don't have some of the dudes that some of these high schools got. More Coach Bryant, the guy that, Big E got to play for, my boys played for. Malachi, the quarterback, I mean, he showed out. I mean, just put on a big-time show. So I got a chance to talk to him. He's going to be our guest here in a few weeks on the show. Love what he did and what he got going for the quarterback position. You could tell he's put the work in and made himself better. I mean, you can just see it, folks. You can just see threw for a couple touchdowns, threw for, I think, over he had his stats up. He threw for a big time game, 2 or 3 touchdowns, but put the ball where it needed to be put. Dropped some balls in the bucket. Really proud of him. But they get the win over. What's wrong?
I'm gonna just make sure we keep rolling.
Got to look at and like them getting the win over Westmore, 35-3. I know that's not what Coach White wanted, his opening day at Westmore. I did get a chance to get a Westmore helmet, so we moving up on the helmets. That's why it's not sitting on here because they didn't get a win. But it's okay. Coach White will get you there, and hopefully you can get things taken care of. Then you look at another big game. You looked at Owasso getting a win over Bigsby. Pretty good margin, was it 40-20?
Yeah, I think so.
40
to 21.
Yeah,
maybe?
40-21. I mean, it just kind of tells you, man. I mean, Owasso gets a new coach. I think this guy got a little bit more fired in him. Sometimes you got a coach coming out, and you bring a new guy in. He's, ready to go, get the team fired up, get him to go. So should be a big time ball game this Friday night with Jenks and Owasso. Where's that game at, Big E?
That's out of Owasso.
It's at Owasso. So Owasso's looking. Hey, if they can knock off Bigsby, knock off Jenks, they're sitting in the driver's seat. But I don't think about it. You talked about Jenks' schedule. They play all these teams, man, and they got to turn around and play one of these teams to get to the semifinals. So there's no dodging each other out there. you still got those top 4 or 5 teams that can win it all. They're up there in Tulsa, but you can't count out Deer Creek on this side of the state neither. Though they took care of business against Bishop. Bishop McGinnis, man, beat them pretty good. 53-17.
Yep, sounds right.
I mean, Deer Creek got 17 starters back. Got a great quarterback. Got some good players. So watch out for them on this side of the state. Edmond Santa Fe, they got beat down by Jenks. What was that? 48-3.
Yep.
Jones just put on the show against those guys. So, they lost a lot. Their quarterback ended up transferring over to Carl Albert. We'll talk about that in a minute. But just a lot of things that's going on. Pieces moving. Midwest City gets beat by Piedmont, which last time Midwest City played Piedmont was still running and running to the next day and the day after that. Probably put up 500 yards on offense against Midwest City, but Midwest City held them to 13. And that's pretty good with that offense. Being that flex bone and, trying to prepare for it, and you only do it really once you only see that once a year. So great job on Midwest City. But if you can see, I got on the table, you have Midwest City and Carl Albert. Carl Albert hasn't played a game yet. That'll be their first game. Midwest City comes in 0-1. But Carl Albert hasn't named the starting quarterback yet. That's still kind of fishy, going into week 1 last year. You already knew who the starting quarterback was, which,
I mean, you had one of the top quarterbacks in the nation transfer in. So
I know, Big A. I was just trying to keep everybody on suspense, But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen that way. I don't know if they're going to play Newton, and the other young man I don't know if they're going to play them both. They're both going to get snaps, Coach Johnson, I'm pretty sure he has a game plan. I think the other young man is Devin. Then you got Collier. I think Collier is probably sitting at third string right now with those two guys sitting at first and second. I don't know who's first or who's second. Like I said, I haven't talked to Coach Dunn about who's going to be the starter. But, Carl Albert come out and do their thing. First game against Midwest City. Midwest City, I think, it's, got some pretty good athletes, got a pretty good young quarterback in Roman. So, looking to see, Midwest City's running back went over to Westmore. Hate to tell him he should have never left. He should have kept his talents on the 15th Street in their depot. But sometimes the grass ain't always green on the other side, and that's why times you don't leave, folks. You stay at home. You see, you hear good things, you hear all that, because he had negative rushing yards last Thursday night. Negative, Biggie. Negative.
Well,
so
sometimes that happens.
Where else we at? Big win over Tuttle in the Guthrie game. It was a great game. Got to catch the end of it. Tuttle, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good, but I don't know if they have enough power to beat Wagner in 4A. I just think that Wagner just got too many dogs, and CJ had a big time touchdown. But Tuttle got some good pieces, but you still, you can have a bucket and go put new seats in it and new stereo in it, and it's still going to be a bucket. Not saying Tuttle's a bucket, but I'm saying, yeah, you upgraded it with some new guys, but, do you still have a big-time running back? I think you got the twins that came from Newcastle, and you got CJ that came from, Tuttle, from South, what was he at, Moore. And I just think when you start playing teams that gets enough film on you, they're going to bracket you and put somebody on the top. Somebody in the flats or whatever. So kind of like Travis Henry, they're going to, when teams start playing him, you're going to see this week against who they play, Colorado State this week.
Who are you asking?
Talking about Colorado. They play Colorado.
Nebraska.
They play Nebraska this week?
Yep.
They play Nebraska. Watch Nebraska, how they cover him. They're going to have somebody probably over the top and somebody man-to-man bump. He's going to get touched every time he gets a chance. So, that's what these teams are going to do with C.J. Simon. The more and more they start getting down the road. And I think they play Newcastle this week. So, that should be a pretty good game. Newcastle went and took care of business, beat a big time.
Yeah, that's a game. That's probably the game I'm most – well, outside of Owasso and Jenks, obviously. I think the most exciting game would be Newcastle and Tuttle. I'm kind of high on Newcastle because I went and saw them at that preview that they had at Carl Albert, and just the way they were able to move the ball, I really liked it. So, you saw it last week. They put up 49 points against Bethel, or not Bethel, I'm sorry. Bartlesville, that's right. So, but yeah, I think that should be a really good game. Probably high scoring. Probably that'd be a game. If you could bet on high school football, you'd probably take the over on this one. Yeah. Yeah.
Then you look at Lod Knight getting a win over Zoe's, looking for his first win in high school football. He doesn't get it. Lod Knight beats him with 20. Was the score
35-28 by a score.
35-28.
Close game.
Close game, you know. So, and hopefully he can get things turned around. But I tell you, one of the biggest games that's probably shocked me the most was Lawton Mack. After I picked him to be the top team in 5A, should been slapped again. Got rolled up. Elgin just put him in. I thought Elgin lost a lot, but folks, you don't know who's in the schools or who's in the hallways until you go and check them out. So Elgin might have had some kids move in. I don't know. I mean, after last year, what they did, had a hell of a year. Then they get beat first round of playoffs. But I just tell you right there, I mean, they beat up on Lawton. I mean, watching Lawton over at the Carl Albert preview, man, they looked pretty good. And then watching them last week, they act like maybe they had some guys out with COVID. I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing because watching them, you know, I figured they'd be a little bit faster, quicker than athletic than Elgin, but Elgin put on the show against them. Choctaw gets the win over the Lubbock team. Yep. I think it was 40-24, something like that.
Yeah, always good to see a Oklahoma team beat up on a Texas team.
Juju's the real deal. I think Williams played good.
Is that who they rolled out for? Like, is that who they
Williams,
started?
I think, Williams started the game. He threw. I mean, and I'm not being mean, folks. I'm just keeping it 100. I would probably love to watch that whole game, but their announcers are so boring. They put you to.
Hey, I'm looking for a play-by-play job. So
guys,
if anybody at Choctaw,
hire him, please.
I
mean, and those guys.
I don't have
around.
any experience doing it, but
you can't be no worse than Choctaw's on the 20, Juju's the touchdown. Go Jaggers, go! I'm like, come on, man. So I mean, I try to watch a little bit of it, but you know, with OU playing Friday night, I went out Thursday night, caught some games. I'll be out this Friday night catching some games, but I just tell you, you know. Having my laptop and you can kind of flip, and everybody has a stream channel you can watch. It's caught the Tuttle game, caught the Midwest City game, caught the Dell City game. I mean, just, you know, anytime you want to go catch a game, you can go catch it. So congratulations, Choctaw getting in. They have another tough game this week. You know, they got the 7A team coming from Kansas, from Missouri or whatever. Then they follow up with Bigsby, but shit, I don't think anybody's scared of Bigsby now. I think Bigsby's down, you know, and I don't know. Maybe they have some guys. And this thing is, you don't know what's going on. People could have some guys hurt, beat up, and all that. So you just never know what's going on. What else we had? Like I said, we talked about the Guthrie. Talked about Booker T. Muskogee beating up on Booker T. Flickler probably had a hell of a night. They win 56-21. So you know, they're sitting at 1-0. So you got a couple of coaches sitting at 0-1. You got Robert Jones. You got Midwest City's Coach Hall. You got Coach White over at Westmore, and then who's the other one? Who else got beat? Said Robert. Said we had Robert, Midwest City, Dell City, Coach White, and Coach Zoe. All those guys, man. You know, good friends and buddies, all sitting at, you know, with a loss right now, but they all get it turned around. Let's go through some of the quick games this week, some of the top games that's coming up this week, and then and finish up going over 2A and 3A real quick.
Yeah. So starting off in 6A1, you know, already talked about it. We had Kaydin Jones on the phone, kind of talk about this matchup. Jenks and Owasso. Owasso coming off a win against Bixby. I think Owasso's probably going to have the momentum. They're going to have, you know, they're going to be puffing their chest a little bit like, hey, we just took down the team that's been running this state for the past, you know, decade. So, but yeah, I think that should be a really good matchup. Both teams super talented. Talent's going to be all over the place. You got to thank every coach. Every college coach, they're going to have at least somebody there at this game just to watch all the talent that's going to be there. But that'll be a pretty exciting game, you know. And then another game that'll be pretty good. Moving to then, you know, got a little 6A1 and 6A2 action going on. Union and Stillwater. That should be a pretty decent game. You know, Stillwater, they're still running that zombie defense. You never know what they're going to do. They show one thing, they do another. So it's confusing for opposing offenses. And, you know, Union, you know, still a good powerhouse that they've been for the, you know, for as long as they, you know, the history of the school, really. So, you know, moving on to 6A2, you know, you have Choctaw taking on a school from Kansas in Gardner. What is it? Gardner Edgerton? I think I'm saying that right. But, you know, that's one thing that I like about, you know, Choctaw. They're not afraid to go and play some of these out-of-state schools and, you know, bring attention to, you know, bring out-of-state attention to, you know, Choctaw. So that'll be pretty exciting. 6A2, Let's see another game here. I mean those are really the two that jump out at me in 6A2. Moving on to 5A, you got Tuttle and Newcastle. Brought it up a minute ago. I think that'll be a really high-scoring game. It'll be a pretty good game. With again a lot of talent on both teams on both sides of the ball. Another one, little rivalry game action going on. You got the Battle of the Bishops, Bishop McGinnis versus Bishop Kelly. That game's always a pretty decent game to watch. Two private schools going at it toe-to-toe. So moving on to 4A, another rivalry, if you will, Star Spencer and Douglas.
No,
Douglas.
You can't talk about that.
I'm just saying I'm highlighting it because it's a rivalry game, and I don't know. I don't think who will win this game. We probably might not see a score until the 3rd minute of the 4th quarter or something like that. So, but what are some 4A teams? Coweta and Wagner, that could be pretty good. Weatherford and Kingfisher, that should be a pretty good game as well there. And then 3A, let me see. 3A. Lincoln Christian and Heritage Hall. That'll be a good one right there.
That's 1 and 2. In
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Lincoln Christian lost a couple of guys. I think a couple of their receivers went over to Jenks too. So Jenks got everybody in the transfer portal. They're kind of like who's one of the colleges that gets everybody in the transfer portal?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
so there you go.
Yeah, and then you got our guy. Coach Cole, that was with Bixby for the past several years, head coach at Bristow now. He'll be taking on Cushing this week over there. Cushing, a really good team. It should be a good test for Coach Cole and his squad. Moving on to 2A1. That's new this year.
They changed it.
Yep, they got. Yep, they got. You got 2A1 and 2A2, and then you got A1, A2, B1, B2. Yeah, that you're getting into what is it, 9-man football right there. So
303 touch.
Yep. So in 2A, this will be a game that I'm excited to watch. Two coaches that we both know, Luther and Bethel. Luther, you got he was coaching new head coach over there, Coach Lunsford. Knew the new head coach over at Luther, and then you got Coach Ginn over at Bethel. That should be a pretty good matchup right there. Here's another one I can highlight here.
You got Heron. I think that's 4A, but
yeah. Did I
Heron,
I don't think
you got Heron McLeod taking.
Yeah, that's a big rivalry right there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big that rivalry was until I went there a couple years ago. I mean, that I have never seen that type of environment for a high school football game. It was a lot of fun being out there for that game. So, if you want to see some small town football, people out there tailgating, you got burgers and hot dogs on the grill everywhere you go and everything. Cool little spot. Go check out Heron McLeod. It'll be a good game. Yeah. And then 2A, back in 2A, who else do we got? I'm looking at 2A2. Cassidy and OCS. Another couple private schools going at each other. I don't know. When two private schools are going at each other, it's always fun to see. And again, with Community Christian and Mount St. Mary, J.D. Runnels takes over that Mount St. Mary program this year. I think they got the win last week, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot who they played, but that should be a pretty good game right there. But I think those are probably all the top matchups. If there's a matchup that I may have forgotten or anything like that, let me know on Twitter. Let us know in our YouTube comments. Teach me a little something. Yeah.
Hit us up and tell us about the game. Hey, we missed. We like the feedback. I had somebody told us last week, keep doing our big thing. I keep doing our thing, and we will continue to keep doing our thing. And having, folks, you can see, we had one of the top players in the state on our show. I mean, he didn't have to come on this show. I mean, we're not OK Prep or none of those guys, but hey, people like to come on the show because one, we're gonna keep it fun, we're gonna keep it 100, and we're gonna have a good time. And he came on the show because his dad's been on there, and they know we're all about keeping it real. We're not trying to dog no kids or talk bad about no kids. If you have a young man or woman that wants to come on the show, I'm fixing to start doing some stuff with Coach V over at Herod. We're gonna start doing one night a week. Talking high school ladies basketball, try to get some of these girls' names out there, get them pumped up, man. It's something that Me and him's gonna start doing here in a few weeks, right before basketball season. He's a head coach at Hera, but just trying to get some of these girls' names out there and get these kids pub, man. I mean, Kaydin don't need no more pub. He already got it, but you got a chance to have him come on this show, and that lets other people know, man, Keep 100 had him on the show, and they had me on the show. That's big time. But I'm gonna go over real quick. I'm not gonna do like I did with the others, but I'm gonna go down 3A real quick and talk about who they got as ranked the top 10. Going down 3, you got Lincoln Christian, number 1, Heritage Hall 2, so for 3. Number 4, Victory Christian. Number 5, Paul's Valley. Number 6 is Perkins. Number 7 is Idabel. Number 8 is Cassia Hall. Number 9 is Berry Hill. And then Chakota's finish up number 10. In 2A, going down, you got Washington number 1, Millwood 2, Marlow 3, Metro Christian 4, Jones. Shout out to my Jones guys. They got a top freshman. Keep your eye on him. His name is Ty Durham. Uncle was Paul Durham that played at Oklahoma State. Outstanding Dale City player. Keep your eye on this guy, just a freshman, starting on the offensive line. The kid is big time. I'll tell you, about time he probably leaves college.
It's crazy. Little tie-ties in high school now.
Little tie-ties in high school. So I got a couple of those young men I coach on that team. We don't have time, but I'll tell a story next week. Coaching that team, man, when they were 6th graders, we ended up winning it all. It's big time. We had an angel in the outfield, so I'll tell that story next week. Remind me to tell that story. But like I said, you had Jones at number 6. What is that, Sequoia?
Yeah, Sequoia.
Sequoia.
Sequoia is at Tahlequah. Tahlequah.
Yeah. Then you had Chandler number 7, Kingston number 8, Chisholm number 9, and Prague. They got Prague at number 10, folks. I watched Prague play a couple weeks ago. Man, that just tells you how bad 2A could be, and that's 2A. I don't know if that's 2A1 or 2A2 or whatever, but man, Les Prague has some guys out on leave. I was like, man, I don't know if this team will win the game, but they got them ranked in the top 10, so it just tells you how when you start getting those lower classes, Jones will be the deal. Everybody kind of talked about Marlowe dropping down to number 2, but they got beat last week, so I think the still top dogs is going to be Washington, Millwood. Jones is going to be right there. Metro Christian's always right there, but you never know. Marlowe might have had a guy out. All these schools, man, Paul's Valley, I mean, they got a good running back that moved in. These kids are moving, man. He kind of talked about it earlier, these NIL deals. We don't know what they're getting under the table, and you're probably not going to know what they're getting under the table, but I think some kids are getting stuff. But Big E, I know you're ready to go watch a little bit of high school football, a little college football tonight. Yep. I know I cooked me some ribs today. I can smell them, taste them, ready to get on them. But let's get out of here, and we'll do it again next week.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Keep It 100 Oklahoma High School Sports. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like.
Thumbs up.
We'll take any criticism, whether it's positive or negative.
Yes.
But thank you guys for tuning in. We'd appreciate it if you'd share this video as well. Get us out there. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of football season. We're
1,000 folks, about 450. Man, get out there, help us out, man. Hey, this is what I'm gonna do. The show is called Keep It What
100.
So for everybody that subscribes here new, we'll put your name in a hat, and I give you a $100 bill. Not everybody, but we'll pick one
lucky winner.
One lucky winner, and I'll give him a $100 bill. I'll come deliver it to you wherever I need to do. Seriously. Because I think we got one of the best shows in high school football. I look at some of these other people's shows. We don't just have anybody. We want everybody to come on this show, and that's what we are. We keep it 100. We love everybody. We love every team. Seriously, I've gotten better. So I like even some of the teams I didn't like. I like them again. But I love you, Goose, over there. I know Goose watches my show every week. I love you, Big Goose. I love you, Goose. Goose is my man over there at Choctaw, the athletic director. Man, I love that man. Love him. Great family. Him and Michelle, Maggie. Man, I love them. Get us out of here. I'm out.
All right. Once again, thank you guys. Have a fun and safe weekend. Well, by the time you see this video, weekend will be over. But thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, keep it 100
Oklahoma High School Sports. See ya.